Assalamu alaikum, everybody, and welcome back to the podcast. If you're new here, my name is Mihad, and I'm the host of my podcast or show, wherever you're at, a podcast where we focus on self-improvement through Islam and just generally girl talk. If you're not new here, welcome back, girl. I'm so happy that you decided to join me again after I took a 4-month break, after I just traumatized you guys with an 8-month break. But listen, I never said I was a full-time content creator, okay? I make content when I can and when it's, adaptable to my life. And since I just literally moved across the United States, I took a little bit of a break. So the last time that I caught up with you guys on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, whatever you're listening on, was the last week of Ramadan, and I was sick, and I was just really trying to get the 4th episode of Ramadan out since I wanted to do one every week. Actually, I think I posted it a little bit late because I was sick, but that's the last time I caught up with you guys on here. So if you have not heard from me since then, I have so much to catch you up on. But if you follow me on YouTube, like if you're subscribed to my YouTube, then you know a lot more. So if you guys don't know that, I did start YouTube around the time that I actually not ended the podcast. I didn't end it, okay? The time that I last recorded my podcast. And I love YouTube. I really do. I have always wanted to start a YouTube channel. So when I finally got to do that, I got a little bit I hyper-focused on it a lot, but it wasn't a bad thing. I was making a lot of videos, exploring my style, my vlog style, my sit-down videos. I did a lot of that. I started actually in Florida. So we go back, me and YouTube. But the one thing that I had always wanted to do, in my life, was record podcasts. I just love it. I love the idea of connecting with you guys just by voice. And then obviously me being a hijabi, I feel like this is the most modest form of content I can make, because you can't see me. I don't have to worry about me being physically modest. I just have to worry about the modesty of my speech. And I don't know, you know how I used to post TikToks and I used to post Instagram pictures and all that. I just never got to showcase my personality or express my opinions or connect with you guys anyway, in a genuine way. I couldn't. But then I started podcasting, and that's when I really found my people. You know what I mean? Anyways, the reason I'm reminiscing on podcasting with you guys is because I did truly miss it. I did. But I was moving to Pennsylvania. Yes, all the way up north. The southern Texas girl has moved yet again. So right now, I currently, alhamdulillah, live in Pennsylvania. But I only am going to live here for a year because my husband is finishing dental school, inshallah, so I'm following him around the globe. And then when he's done, inshallah, I would love to move back to Texas, where my family and my friends reside. But yeah, my move-in process was very long, actually. I had to pause my Patreon, I had to pause my Spotify. The only thing I didn't pause was YouTube, and that's because I was very hyper-focused on it. I was just so excited about the new platform that's the only thing I was able to give the little energy I had after, moving and everything. So what we did was in May, which is the last time I posted a podcast, is when I moved out of Florida, and I spent a month in Texas with my family while my husband was finishing his school, or the 3rd year of his school, and then packing everything up. And then after that month is when I moved, or at least I flew to Pennsylvania, and I spent a month in an Airbnb because the place that I live in now wasn't available until later. So I spent a month in an Airbnb. So then I had just a bunch of trash bags everywhere. I was trying to make it a home as best as I can for the month that I was there, and also adapting to the new state. And then finally, close to August is when I moved into my new place and had to get all the furniture and move everything back. So it wasn't a short move-in process, which is why I couldn't come back sooner. But alhamdulillah, it was long, and I've noticed that whenever I think something is gonna be so long, I have a whole year of school left, or I have to stay in an Airbnb for a month and all that, it always ends up being for my benefit, because it's just a better transition, you know what I mean? I got to see different parts of Pennsylvania before I moved into where I live now. And I got to just enjoy time with my family and friends in Texas before I even went to the Airbnb. So, alhamdulillah, everything always works out. So, let me tell you a little something about what I think about Pennsylvania. So, first impression, I hated it. I literally cried the first day I was there. I was like, I don't want to be here. And okay, in my defense, 1 year just it low key is a long time. Like, just to think, like, I wish I could already move back to Texas, but I have to like move somewhere else, somewhere completely like new. I've never been to the north before. I was born in New York, but I've never like experienced the north as an adult. Also, when I say the north, I keep thinking of Game of Thrones. But anyways, I did cry the first day, but let me tell you, my Airbnb was not in a gray area. It wasn't really safe. It was kind of ugly. So that's what I thought I was going to be like experiencing all the time. But alhamdulillah, after moving to my place that I'm in now, I love it. It is so pretty. It's very hilly. I didn't expect it to be like have a lot of hills. So when I'm driving, it's like wee wee. Very fun. I love the trees. I'm from somewhere with a lot of trees, but this is like, I just feel like I'm driving through a forest a little bit. And when you're like driving on the highway and stuff, like trying to go anywhere to any like surrounding cities, there's like huge hills or mountains that are covered in trees. Like it's very beautiful. Definitely prettier than Texas in my opinion. I really think there's nothing good in Texas besides the food and the people. And the Muslim community basically. But other than that, it's hot and ugly. So seeing the beauty of Pennsylvania up there was very nice. Is very nice actually. But I'm not gonna lie, I don't be driving. Like I drive like 10 minutes, and if it's longer than 10 minutes, I turn around and go home. But yeah, I really enjoy it. It's a very quiet life, you know, and it's so crazy that like I was so scared of moving there and just like different people and starting over again. Like I had just moved to Florida, like I hadn't even been in Florida for like 6 months. And then after I made friends and finally got comfortable, I moved again and started over. So that was overwhelming. But subhanallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had something in store for me because I love my new place. Like I genuinely love it. It's like my little like woman cave. Like I would actually like, I don't go outside. Like I don't need to go outside. Everything I need is in my humble abode. Okay, I have my coffee machine. I make matcha now. I got my couch. I got my TV. I got everything I need. And it's so funny because I thought I wasn't a homebody because I enjoy like events and I enjoy like going out with friends, but at the end of the day, I'd rather be home. Like I really would rather be home. But seriously though, like just the fact that I wasn't that stressed about going to Pennsylvania, but let me tell you, I was not looking forward to it. Like I do love moving. I love moving to new houses. I love moving to like those things. But this was just, it felt like a little bit of an inconvenience. Like I would love to like have a place in Texas where I can like invite people over and visit my family and I don't have to take flights and everything is just there. So to Pennsylvania just felt like, ugh, okay, I have to do this. It's going to be over in a year and then I can finally be back, right? And I have this problem where, I don't know if you feel like this, but I have this problem where I am always looking forward to what's next, like constantly. And I've been like this like since high school and probably before, but I'm just never like, it's not that I'm not enjoying my present, but I am like eagerly and maybe too eagerly looking forward to the future. Like literally, okay, when I was like getting married to my husband, right? I was like, we had a year and a half of long distance. So what am I thinking of? I can't wait to live with him. I cannot wait. Like I just like, I need it to happen now. Like I was very impatient with it, like, you know, a little like spoiled impatient with it. And it would just weigh me down all the time. I'd be like, ugh, I want to move in already. Like it's going to be so nice when I finally have my own place. And then bam, I have my own place. And what do I miss? I miss college and I miss my friends and I miss the hangouts. But now instead of being happy with the present that I've been dreaming of, I've been like looking forward to moving to Texas, like in an unhealthy way. Again, I'm like, ugh, I want to move to Texas already, like la di di da. I didn't really look forward to Pennsylvania because like I said, I felt like that was like the final stretch, you know? But I'm just really trying to slow down and enjoy the present. Because now that I'm in Pennsylvania and I have this great place and I did not know how much I would love like where I live, now that I have this place, I keep thinking I can't wait to move to Texas. And it's an unhealthy cycle that I really want to stop because who knows if I'm even going to make it. You know what I mean? Like, who knows if I'm going to make it to next year, like tomorrow, let alone next year. So I want to enjoy life as it is right now. And I feel like I've been doing a better job at like slowing down and enjoying the present moment, because I was reminded of this hadith from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and it says, "Take advantage of five before five: your youth before your old age, your health before your sickness, your wealth before your poverty, your free time before your preoccupation, and your life before your death." And honestly, to me, that resonates in just like right now, you're in a moment that you will most likely miss or be like nostalgic of later in life. Like, for example, right now I'm like, oh, I can't wait to be in Texas, right? When I'm in Texas, I guarantee there's a really high chance that I will think I miss my peaceful life in Pennsylvania. I miss being by myself and being at peace, and having more free time during that time. You see what I'm saying? So like I need to take advantage of, in this case, my free time before my preoccupation and my youth before my old age. So honestly, that has helped me. But as much as I look forward to moving like back to where I'm from, genuinely, y'all, like I did not know how much isolation would benefit me. Like I really thought that being like moving away to a different state and stuff, like I thought that I would go like a little bit crazy, especially because I didn't really have plans of working like in Florida because I was only there for a little bit, and I'm not sure if I plan to work in Pennsylvania as of right now. So I thought that I would go. Even my husband, like he thought I was gonna go crazy. Like he was like, maybe you should like get a job, or like maybe you can like volunteer somewhere. I was like, dude, I'll be okay. Like I'm not gonna go crazy. He thought I was gonna like cry, and I'm not gonna lie. Granted, because I literally bawled my eyes out the first day I was there. I scared this man to death. But I genuinely enjoy the peace of being alone. And it's crazy because I don't realize it until I come back to visit. And actually, I'm literally here in Texas right now visiting. And like anytime I hear friend drama, or like, oh, like she didn't invite me to this place, or like anything, literally any kind of drama, or like things that just come with like having like friends in close proximity. Wow, I'm sitting there like, I do not miss this. Like I want to make my matcha, make dinner for my husband, sit and enjoy a movie. Like like that's the life, you know what I mean? So it's so crazy how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will, his plan is just the best. Like you really can't make a better plan for yourself. There's a saying that says, I plan, you plan, but Allah plans better. I'm just kidding. Wait, I think I made that up. Someone quote me on that. But it's really true. And once I started to realize, like, these experiences in life, like, they could be tough. You could see moving away and not having any friends and just feeling, like, distant from the people, like, you moved away from, missing family, missing friends, like, the dynamics changing, anything like that. You can see that as a bad thing. But there's also so much good with what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you. That's why we listen to the ayah, inna ma'al usri yusra, verily with hardship comes ease. It's like with it, like it comes in a package. It's a package deal, okay? Like the ease that came with moving away was the peace of mind that I had. And yes, it doesn't mean all the negatives like just go away. Like I still miss my family and I miss my friends, and it is hard like living far away from them. But the ease of that was just the peace, a peaceful life, you know? And alhamdulillah, because honestly, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't put me through like different experiences, there's no way I would understand his plans, you know? Like I would be more lost for sure. Like, imagine before I even met my husband and I asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bring me closer to him, and his plan is to marry me to someone who needs to live in 3 different states and take me away from my family and friends, because he knows that's the only way that I will increase my trust in him, my love for him, my worship, like all of that. It's crazy. It's so crazy. Ugh, full circle. Anyways, more about being alone. I enjoy my own company. I've told you guys this before. Like, I never get bored. There's not a day in my life where I'm bored. And that's just because I'm always behind on things. Like, there's always something that I have to do, or there's always something that I want to do. I will say that I'm a creative person at heart. So, like, if I wake up tomorrow, like, there's just so many things I want to do. Like, I want to record a podcast, I could make a YouTube video, I could make a new recipe, I could visit a friend, I could, well, I can't do that if I'm in Pennsylvania. But you know what I mean? Like, I could call people. Like, when people, I don't understand people who get bored. That's just not what I do. So, on the topic of not getting bored, because I can entertain myself so well, I don't feel the need to make friends. Like Abdurrahman, my husband, he tells me to make friends. Like, he's like, oh, you should go to the masjid and meet some new friends. And I'm like, you know what's so funny is that I have no desire to make the new friends, you know? And that doesn't mean, like, I don't connect with certain people. Like, I've made new friends this year, like, on social media, or, like, even new friends, like, when I come visit in Texas. But just in general, like, I don't have this, like, aching desire to hang out with, like, new people. For me, it's like the desire is to hang out with people I am friends with, like, in Texas, and, like, work on those relationships, you know? Because, I don't know, like, once I start a relationship with someone, like, I will either invest in that or I won't have it. Like, you're either gonna be friends with me, like, on a sisterly level, or I don't want any part of it. Because if I have to put in effort in a friendship, like, in terms of being, like, not myself, like, I have to kind of put on a show, or, like, put on a front, or, like, be extra nice. Like, let's say I have to be, like, 150% nice when I'm usually, like, just 100% nice. That's just, I can't do that. Which low-key sounds bratty, but you know what I mean? Like, I am not a hey girly girl. Oh my god, hey girl, like, how are you doing? Like, oh my god, I missed you. Like, what have you been up to? I just can't do that. It takes too much energy from my soul. I'm much more of, like, I'm gonna hold your head in my hands and be like, I missed you, girl. What have you been up to? Like, you know what I mean? Like, please tell me this is translating well. I don't want to make new friends. It gives me anxiety. I don't like not knowing what they, like, think of me. Most of my friends in my life right now, I have probably sat them down one day and literally asked them to name, like, 3 things they don't like about me. But and I know that's unhealthy, and most of them did not answer. But some of them I forced to, because there was a point in my life, probably like 2 years ago, where I still cared so much about what people thought. I knew that everyone thinks, like, at least 1 or 2 negative things about someone, and I had to know what they were. Like, I had to know. I know it's sick. It's sick. Why am I admitting this? I don't know. Anywho, I will say that one of the reasons that I don't have that desire to make new friends is because I have friends, alhamdulillah, in Texas. Like, I grew up with a good group of friends, and even though, like, we're not close right now, there's so many other friends that I've made in this state, and even the ones that I grew up with, like, I can reach out to them and I can hang out with them, and everything is just so chill, and I love that, and alhamdulillah for that, because not a lot of people have that. That's one of the reasons I made this podcast, is that I realized not a lot of people have friends. Like, literally, it's not even, like, a bad thing. It's in general, like, they're either in an area where there's not a lot of good people, or they're particular with their friends, or they had a bad experience and they're just kind of, like, alone, waiting for a good friend to come along. And I know people who would rather have, actually, I am one of those people. I'd rather not have friends than have friends that are bad, or friends that, like, I have to put in, like, so much effort in, you know? Friends. I'm tired of talking about friends. Kidding. I'm a little bit triggered. Let me tell you why I'm triggered. Because I came back to Texas this week, and I had the biggest, like slap in the face of like you're at the big age, 23. I'm 23 right now, where everyone is now fully doing their own thing. Like they're on their own path. Like when I was in college, like yes, we're all doing different things, but we're on the same path or like point in our path where we're in college, right? High school, same thing. Um we're just we were all on the same path, and now like everyone is doing their own thing, and there's just no more like there's not the same like connections, not connections, because I feel like the connections are great. The availability and like the lifestyle of like always seeing your friends and stuff, it's out the window. And I didn't realize I was at that point. Like I thought that point would come a little later in life. And one of the biggest like things that have made me see that is because two of my closest friends, alhamdulillah for them, have started medical school, and there ain't no time to talk to anybody when you're in med school. Like if you're in med school, I'm praying for you, because the way they literally shove information down your throat within the first hour that you've started med school is crazy. And I wish you all great mental health and sanity and increased focus and study skills, and anything good I can send your way. I mean, but just them not being available like they used to be is just like, ugh, this sucks. Like this sucks. I'm like that one unemployed friend that's like, guys, let's link, let's go on a trip, and they're all like, girl, I have work. And I'm like, damn. Yeah, you're right. You're right. So like the fact that I'm here and I haven't even seen like I haven't done any like friend hangouts. It's really shocking because I'm someone like when I come visit, like I'm always so anxious about how I'm gonna balance family and friends. Like I don't want my parents to feel like I'm out too much, but I still want to see my friends. And now I'm sitting here making my parents spring rolls with peanut sauce, and I'm not even thinking about like when I'm gonna see my friends because I don't think I'm gonna see them. Um, and alhamdulillah, look what that did. Okay, yes, there's hardship. Yes, I can't see my friends. Yes, I feel a little bit lonely, but I'm spending time with my parents. I'm getting closer to them and having the relationship I literally ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for him to give me. I've asked him in many du'as to increase like to make my relationship with my parents better, right? It's not, you're not just gonna get like magical things in this dunya is what I realized. You're not like, you wish for what, better study habits, and then you think it's just gonna like magically come. No, you're probably gonna be put in a situation that you think is bad, but it's actually an answer to your dua. So let's say like you ask for better study tips and then all your friends drop you. Okay, yes, that sucks. But now you have more time to study. Do you get what I'm saying? Like it's 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 hard to wrap your mind around, and I'm not saying I have my mind wrapped around it. I really don't. But I will say that I've gained a more like a deeper perspective about what it means to be giving like giving your life to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is in control of your life, right? I'm not like, when I say giving your life to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and your plan, I don't mean that you had it. But usually growing up we're under the impression that we're in control. So when I say giving your life to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I'm talking like letting go of control. You just start to see everything kind of come into place. You know? It's like when you know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you know that he loves you and that he wants to like give you what you ask for. But you can't be like closed-minded and think like, oh, I want good study habits and I want to see my friends all the time, or I want a good relationship with my parents and I want to like go out every night. You see what I'm saying? I'm getting so motivated and tired at the same time. Shocking. I think the overall theme here is just that this is what it feels like to grow up. Like I'm starting to think, cuz if like when life starts to change and things start to not look how you thought they were going to look, or things just seem like they're slipping away a little bit, I feel like that's what it feels like to grow up. You know, like it's bittersweet. Like there's good things, there's bad things, but it's just kind of like when you start to feel a little bit of like an acceptance of just life changing, it's a sign that you're growing up, you know, or maturing at least. And if it were my choice, I would be 9 years old all the time because that was the golden year. Like fourth grade, it was honestly like the best year of my life. Like there was no worries. Like I'm just excited to go to school. I'm excited to go to the masjid, seeing my friends, playing on the playground. Like it's just, I miss those days immensely. So if I know in Jannah, inshallah, we're gonna be 33 years old, but low-key, I want to be 9. Like, but maybe 33 will feel as good as 9 felt. You know what I mean? And speaking of 33, isn't that crazy that that's like our prime age? Like, I don't like when people are like, oh my god, I'm getting so old. Like, girl, I'm only 23. Like, there's still so much time to even get to my prime age. I'm excited for my 30s. Are you kidding? Bringing my family to the park, inshallah. Like, having play dates and like mom coffee dates where we bring our kids and they like color on the table and we're just chatting because we just like made coffee together. And like after that, like we bring our kids to the masjid and we listen to a lecture while we like throw them in like an understaffed babysitting. Like I am ready for that. That's what I'm excited for. But again, not jumping through the timeline because there will be a time where I'll be like, damn, I didn't take advantage of my youth before my old age, and now I'm old. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm excited to be old. I'm excited to be like a teta, like a grandma. Like, I'm excited. I want to be that grandma that, like, sneaks you money and chocolate in your pocket. Ugh, I'm so excited. I feel great. You know what, though? I did look up, like, what phase of my, hormonal cycle I'm on, and apparently I'm in the follicular phase, which is optimistic and what was the other word? Energetic, which is weird because like I'm immensely fatigued, but my brain is so optimistic this week. Anywho, I'm actually enjoying this. I'm enjoying being back. We're almost 30 minutes in, and I feel like I've talked for like 3 hours. And you guys, like, there have been a couple of you that have asked me, like, when are you posting again, girl? What am I supposed to listen to at the gym or on the way to work? And I realized that even though I was giving you guys YouTube, you can't listen to that at the gym or on the way to work. Like, you need these episodes. And I'm back. And I'm here. I've kind of bounced around my little script that I have. It's really just topic names. You guys know I don't really plan what I'm gonna say. Well, I do plan like kind of topics so that I don't, go on tangents for 30 minutes like I probably just did. But I do write down like general topics that I want to touch on, and then when you guys listen, you're like, "Oh, I want to know more about that," or "I want to hear more about your thoughts about this." And then I'll talk more about it later. Okay? So let's stop talking about friends for just a sec. Okay? Because we've talked about moving and being alone and then friendship. One thing I want to talk about is marrying young. Oh my god, I wanted to make like a whole episode about this, and I hate saying that I'm going to make an episode and then I don't make an episode, so let me just talk about it, okay? Marrying young is such like an idealized thing that I was victim of. Like when I was younger, I was like, "Oh my god, like I want to marry young, la di di da, I'm ready to be married." But in reality, I don't have a single regret for marrying young. Alhamdulillah. But there are so many things that marrying young has opened my eyes to, and I want to share some of those with you guys. But I didn't write it down, so I'm getting a little stressed. Hopefully I remember them. So, number one thing about marrying young is that it ages you a little bit. Like, and it's in a good way. Like, I'm someone who's like always wanted to be a little bit older, like when you're a kid, you're like, you can't wait to be older. So it's not that that's a negative thing, but like when you marry young, oh my god, say that one more time, girl. When you marry young, you're most likely marrying before your friends, before your peers, okay? So that's exciting for you, right? Everyone's so excited for you. But your timeline moves a little faster than theirs, and that can kind of make you feel left out. And so let me kind of explain some of that. There are times where you may feel like you don't really understand your friends anymore, or they don't really understand you, because with marriage comes responsibilities, priorities. Like, you have a whole man, like you're in a partnership marriage together, right? And so he comes first. Like, he does come first over your friends. So there's hangouts that you're gonna miss. There's like if all your friends are out late and your husband's like at home with like no food and no company, it's just like it's not right. You know what I mean? Like you feel it in your heart, like I need to be with him. Like, I want to be with him. I don't want to leave him alone, you know? And obviously, you guys know I don't really have to explain myself that much on this podcast, because you guys understand, to like give me benefit of the doubt when I speak, and like I don't have to fully in detail explain everything. um but obviously, I'm not saying that you can't hang out with your friends late at night, like here and there. But what I am saying is that you will have a new priority in your life that some people will just not understand. Like, they'll be like, okay, he's fine at home. Like, he can cook for himself, or he can la da dee da. But you actually like the man. I feel like when I talk about marriage with people who are not married, not everyone, obviously, just a select few, like, they'll be like, oh my God, I could never like cook for a man or clean after a man or like la di di da. And I'm like, are you forgetting that you like the guy? Like, you actually like him. Like, you married him because you love him. And I realize that they don't understand because they can't envision it at the moment. So, like, you're explaining like marriage scenarios with people, they don't have a man in mind that they like. They just have a random man off the street. So it kind of like disgusts them, or like puts them off to just be like cooking for a random man, cleaning for a random man, saying no to hangouts for a random man, like all these things. Like, they're thinking of a random man. So I don't blame them. You know what I mean? Anyways, so one of the things is that some people will not understand the new role that you have stepped into, okay? And that's okay. We don't care about being understood anymore. You know, like, those who understand you are your true friends and the people you keep close. Those who don't, they don't even need an explanation, because some people are just a little bit hard-headed, and they're not even gonna, they don't really want to put in the effort to understand like you or your life. And so we don't have to waste energy on making them understand who you are, or like the role that you have just stepped into, like we said. Another thing about marrying young, and one of the biggest things, is that you are not getting the ideal scenario where you get married, he has a job, you move in where your family lives, like in the area, like he has all this money. Like, you don't. Because usually when you're marrying young, like, I'm assuming both like partners are young, you're not marrying like a 35-year-old established lawyer. um you are accepting that your husband or your future man is actually not at like the most ideal point to provide for you, okay? And the Prophet ﷺ advised like marriage as soon as possible. Young marriage is great, but you have to be ready for like not having enough money to do certain things, or not living at home because they're still in school, so you have to like move to where they are. Little things like that. Or like or maybe they still live with their parents, right? Some people like still live with their parents, so maybe you need to move in with them at the time because your man is still in school, or whatever the situation is. My point is that you're not really in the ideal situation, so you can't go about it. Like, if you're looking for an established man, babes, you're gonna have to wait. Like, you're gonna have to wait. Obviously, if he doesn't have a job yet and he's still in school, he needs some way to provide for you, okay? Everyone has their own way. Maybe they have help from parents, maybe they have a job on the side, maybe they have a lot of savings, whatever the case may be. You have to make sure that they can provide for you in the lifestyle you want at the moment, or you have to be patient and get married later. Like, it's not like the most idealized thing about young marriage is that you get to be with like, inshallah, your like best friend, you know? Like, you get to grow up together a little bit. So that's a great thing. However, another thing, and I don't want to be like a pessimist, okay? I will tell you all the like fun things about young marriage from what I experienced. For context, if you don't know when I got married in May 2022. I had just turned 21 years old, and my husband was, I believe, 23 I don't even know. I make jokes that he's like an old man, but he's not. So that was like almost 3 years ago. Oh my god, subhanAllah, I've been married for almost 3 years. That's crazy. That's crazy. Alhamdulillah. Anyways, I still had a year and a half left of college, and he was in dental school and still is, but alhamdulillah is almost done. So that's the context of me marrying young. I was 21, he was like 23 or 20 or turning 24, something like that. So we're about 3 years apart. Anyways, what was I saying? I was talking about marrying young. Oh yeah, I wanted to touch on the fact that when you marry young, you have to understand that what you want in the moment might be different from what you want later. And the reason I say this is because there's so many people who say, like, the man I thought I wanted to be with when I was 19, I would never in a million years choose that man now that I'm 24, 25. I'm like, that's not what I want. Like, what you want changes because you're learning who you are and what you want as you grow. You know what I mean? So, like, I don't really know how to explain, like, what I did, though, because I did get married at 21, and maybe I would have wanted different things at, like, 25, but, I mean, so far, so good. Alhamdulillah. I saw a lot of good things in the man. Um, that's so funny. I'm literally telling you guys that you might want different things, and I'm, like, out here getting married at 21. I never thought I would get married at 21, to be honest. You know how, like, everyone, like, when they're, like, in high school, they're like, I want to get married at 23, and then I want to be, like, engaged for, like, a year, and then I want to have my nikah and my wedding, and then I want to move in, la-di-di-da, right? So my little plan was to get married at 22, because I thought 22 was so old. I was like, okay, I'm going to be, like, so mature at 22, I'm going to get married, and I didn't know he was going to be older than me. And then, oh my god, I think I wanted kids by, like, 25. I'm actually crazy. Well, maybe I do want kids at 25. I don't know. Anywho, sorry, I'm going on a little bit of a tangent. Okay, so the last thing I want to say about marrying young, like something you should know, and I can make an episode about this if this is something you guys are interested in, like just marriage in general, and I can open like a Q&A type. Maybe I can get my man on here again because you guys really liked the episode. But the last thing I wanted to touch on in terms of marrying young, like kind of something to be prepared for, is that if you are young, you most likely are not finished. Well, you're never finished going through any childhood trauma slash bad habits slash character development. You know, you're still in the thick of it. And so an example I can give for that is just like, okay, I moved out of my parents' house, right? And I moved in with my husband. Alhamdulillah, I had a year and a half of like us being like separate, and helped me transition from like my old life to my new life. So that was, at the time I thought that sucked. I was like, oh, I can't even live with my husband. Like, I wish he was in Texas. But it's also like, that was a beautiful period for me to like get to hang out with my friends and family still while being married, and while like getting to like talk to my husband and hang out with him and go visit him and all that stuff. So when I actually moved in with him is when I started to notice a little bit of my childhood like trauma coming out. And when I say childhood trauma, like this can be anything. Like this is not necessarily like you got beat as a kid. Like this means like as a child you felt like love was only given when you did something correct, or when you, like even when you're a little bit older and you watched as your dad was like nonverbal during arguments or whatever, you will start to notice how much you picked up from your childhood and how much comes out during marriage. Like, marriage brings out the best and the worst of you. It's actually crazy. I could go on about this forever. So, for example, in the examples that I gave, you could see yourself being nonverbal in arguments just because you're mirroring what you saw when you were growing up, and you don't even know that you're doing it until your partner's like, dude, like, why are you not talking when I'm trying to like have like a healthy conversation with you? All of these things get brought up, and it's a little bit harder when you're younger. Like, our frontal lobe is not even developed yet. Like, we are gonna have a harder time like navigating how to heal from our past, and how to heal from like the things that we learned and we saw growing up, and just kind of having your new and healthy marriage as opposed to like any unhealthy things that you saw growing up or like you experienced. Because obviously, like, even if your parents' like relationship was great and like whatever they're parenting, you still want to have like your own relationship, like, and figure out what works best for you guys, right? So just a reminder, basically, yeah, that things will come up in your marriage, and when you're younger, it's going to be a little harder and a little newer to navigate, but it's doable. Okay. Anyways, I promised I would tell you guys like fun things about marriage, young marriage. I think the most fun thing is just that it's halal. Like, you can be with your husband and you can hang out and he's your best friend, la da da, and it's all like halal and it's all fun. Like, you don't have to wait for that, you know what I mean? Like, if it's a choice. Obviously, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala provides you with marriage whenever he sees best, whenever it's best for you, right? So we don't choose like when we get married, and it's easy to get really impatient with Allah's plan for yourself. But just imagine like you're sitting there like, oh, I wish I was married already. Like, all these people around me are getting married. I'm so late. Da da da. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is like, dang, if only she had trust in me, and she could see that I'm saving this beautiful man for her, like this beautiful piece of righteous, like cute man for her in the future, and I'm gonna give him to her at the perfect time for her, and she doesn't even know. So trust the plan, y'all. Obviously, that's easier said than done as a person who did marry young, but there's other things that I don't have that others might have that I need to be patient with as well. Another fun thing about young marriage is that, I don't know, I guess that you're still like fun and optimistic. I'm not saying you're not going to be like that later, but just like the immaturity is a little bit fun. Does that make sense? Like, you're not like both like established or like older, and like you're still a little bit like goofy and immature, and that's like fun because that like feeds into the best friend aspect. And you, like, when you're younger, you're most likely, like I said, not working yet, so you're going through challenges together, or like it's just fun, you know? Like, if I married him later, I would not have been able to like hop around the United States with him and experience all these different things that has made like our relationship stronger, and like given me so many like memories that I can like cherish, you know? Okay, whatever, this is getting gross. Okay, the last thing that I want to talk about is coming back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you might be wondering, why did you just get so serious on me? And that's because ultimately our purpose in this life is to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So here's what I've noticed. I'm literally sitting up for this. What I've noticed is that we live in a society that's like so focused on self-worship. And I use the word worship like not lightly. Literally, with the way we're going in society, like, we are worshiping ourselves, astaghfirullah. Like, our whole mind and all of our efforts go to ourselves only. How can I get rich? How can I have clear skin? How can I look my best? How can I, like, oh my God, it is so self-centered. It's actually, like, it's really alarming when you take a step back. And yes, self-care is great. Love self-care, love skincare, love modest fashion, love all this stuff. But if we're not taking care of the whole reason, the whole purpose that we're put on this earth, then we're gonna die with clear skin, but we're going to hell. And I don't say that to be harsh. I'm sorry, but I just be thinking about it. I'm like, sometimes I like close TikTok and I'm like, we're going to hell. Like, we're not going to the right place, because when's the last time we picked up the Quran? When's the last time we tried to improve our salat? When's the last time we actually went out of our way to volunteer for nonprofit organizations? When's the last time we gave back to the poor? When's the last time we like spent time with our parents just solely to make them happy? When is the last time we stopped focusing on ourselves? Literally. It's crazy. It's seriously crazy. And I fall victim to this self-love thing like too much, like too often, basically. Because we overindulge. All right. So I saw this lecture recently. I tried to look for it before I recorded this podcast, but it just really like took me back, because I've been a little bit struggling with feeling like purposeful. Does that make sense? Because, okay, back to the marriage thing. Okay, I married young, right? And after I graduated college with my teaching degree, I didn't use it right away because of like the different states I was going to be in. Like, there's like, you have to be state certified, like based on your state, and I didn't want to like certify in other states. Anywho, so I'm basically like a full time housewife. Like, that's all I do. Okay, so my occupation right now is stay at home wife, plus I do content creation for um for you guys, obviously. And alhamdulillah, some of my content creation does give me money. So I don't feel like fully, like before I was like making money on social media a little bit, I was feeling like, damn, like what am I doing with my life? Like I'm literally only a stay at home wife, which sucks because literally Islamically, that I'm fulfilling my role. If I am turning the house into a home and I'm making my husband feel cared for and I'm just like treating him right and all this stuff, like I'm literally fulfilling my role as a wife. That's all I'm expected to do, and that's what I'm going to be asked about, right? But like, because of the age I got married, I feel like this I feel like I'm not doing enough because everyone around me is either studying or working. Like, no one is just sitting home doing nothing, right? Like, everyone's either studying or working. So, when I'm not studying or working, I tend to feel like not embarrassed, but like, okay, I come visit Texas, right? And everyone's like, oh, like, what are you doing with your life? And I'm like, oh, like, right now I just stay at home and I do content or whatever. A little bit of me is like feeling less than because I'm like, damn, like, if you don't work or if you don't like study, then a little bit people start to question, like, so what do you do? And like I said, that sucks because it's like that's all we have to do is fulfill our role as a wife, like when you're married, right? And work is great, okay? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to give back to the community. He wants us to be like, whatever we do it the best of your abilities, you know what I mean? And seek knowledge. Islamically, we're literally required to seek knowledge. So I'm not saying it's a bad thing to work, but I am saying that when you don't work, people a little bit make you feel like, or maybe it's just your insecurities coming out, make you feel like you're not doing enough or you're not like doing anything. You know what I mean? So I feel like marrying young has a little bit, like, the people around you are not on your clock, like they're not on your timeline. Does that make sense? But obviously you can be a stay-at-home wife. I mean, you can be a wife and you can work, so I feel like that would make you feel a little bit purposeful. Where am I going with this? I wanted to say that I've been like feeling like I had a little bit of a lack of purpose, and what's crazy is that I don't feel like that as heavily when I'm in Pennsylvania living with my husband, because I am turning that house to a home. I am cleaning, I am cooking, I am taking care of everything. I am like, you know, working on my relationship and all that stuff. So I feel like I'm fulfilling that purpose, at least my purpose as a wife, right? And then also content creation makes me feel good because of like the way you guys react to what I post, and like when you guys tell me that you enjoy it and all this stuff, that makes me feel great. That gives me purpose. But I was feeling a lack of purpose in my heart. Okay, my God, I've talked about purpose for like 3 minutes. I didn't even tell you guys why. And I feel like it's because I feel far from my deen. I'm telling y'all, when you feel that pit, in your like heart of like you're not like happy, or you're not like, you don't feel fulfilled, your heart is yearning for the deen. And if it's not, and you're not like religious, low-key, you need to take a step back. You need to take a step back and think, are you focusing on self-worship instead of worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Or, you know what I mean? So anyways, I was feeling away from the Lord, and that's because after Ramadan, like in May, like I was fine, but we all know that after Ramadan there's a little bit of a decline, right? There's a little bit of a decline. And that's just obviously the shaitan like telling you like, oh, you did so good in Ramadan, like you can chill, you can relax. And then we're not like going to the masjid that often anymore. We're not like reading Quran as often anymore. We stopped doing those things in Ramadan. Unfortunately, that's really the case. And when you stop doing that, when you stop actively worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you're not taking steps towards Him. You're taking steps away, okay? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comes to you when you come to him. So if you're walking the other direction, you're going to keep walking, you know? But what's great about our religion is you can keep walking miles and miles and miles. The second you turn around, he's there. SubhanAllah. We don't, honestly, it's like actually such a beautiful religion. But I was feeling away from it, and I was asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bring me closer to him, guide me to him. There's one dua I really, really like. It goes, Ya muqallib al-qulub, thabit qalbi ala dinak. O turner of hearts, I believe. I'm like, I need to read this actually. Okay, I was right. O turner of hearts, make my heart steadfast on your religion. First of all, it's so beautiful on the tongue, just in general. And I love learning new Arabic, new du'as in Arabic, because I learned in a fiqh class about salat that if you're doing your du'as in English, in sujood, you are not supposed to mouth them. But I enjoy mouthing my du'as. I feel like it helps me focus. So I like learning, you know, our religion. Like the language of our religion is Arabic. So I like to learn new du'as. So that one is just beautiful because I'm asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to turn my heart. Like I feel like I can't do it. You know what I mean? Like he is capable of anything. Like if you just believe that, then your du'as get so much more like real and deep because you can ask for anything. Like literally, oh changer of hearts, change my heart to want to be like closer to you, to want to be like on the deen. So anyways, I was making that dua and I was making other duas about getting closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I haven't felt much of a switch, and maybe that's because I wasn't doing anything. Like I wasn't taking the steps, you know? I was just asking. Like you have to tie your camel. The saying of like, I don't know, you know, is that saying about tie your camel and then trust Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to do the rest? Is that like when you're in the desert and you like tie your camel to a tree, but like and you go somewhere, but like does that mean like someone's gonna steal your camel? But like you tied it, so you asked like you trust Allah to do the rest. Like I forgot what the actual like meaning behind that saying was, but yes, tie your camel and trust Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to do the rest. So what I'm saying is I was not tying my camel. Like my camel was loose and running, okay? Running in the desert. So I decided like, okay, one of the things I really wanted to do was like have a relationship with the Quran, because if you go 3 days without the Quran, you're considered someone who abandoned it. Abandoned it, girl. Like it's just wrong. Like your Quran is collecting dust. It is wrong. And like just the fact that all these like TikTok audios were in my head, like, and you've been so out of touch. Like, why am I thinking of that? And why am I not reciting Quran in my head? And I swear, guys, TikTok is like actually scary. The way I can doom scroll for hours, like I feel looped into it. And subhanAllah, the only thing that gets me out of that loop is the fact that in the algorithm and in my For You page, there's videos of Palestinians asking for help. It's actually like, it's really a shock back to reality that, okay, what the hell are you doing with your life? There's literally people asking for help. First of all, like, save, share, do everything you need to do. Second of all, these people just are such a great example of like what we should be in our belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and how they trust him. And they say, Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is sufficient for me. That's all they need. And like we're out here, it's really a reality check. Anyways, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ease the suffering of the Palestinian people and increase their patience and allow us to be like them. Ameen. So like I was saying, I wanted a relationship with the Quran because I knew that if I died today, I could not say that the Quran was like my friend. The Quran was with me. Like the Quran will not speak for me on the Day of Judgment. Like everything's gonna speak for you. The trees, like your bed, your prayer mat, like everything's gonna speak for you. And the Quran was not gonna speak for me at that point. And I hated that. I really, really wanted a relationship with the Quran. And of course, when you don't speak Arabic and you don't understand Quranic vocabulary and words, it's harder to have a connection with the Quran because you don't know what's being said. So you have to like tie it with the meaning as well. And like life, like Shaitan tells us, oh, life is so busy, like you don't have time, like you can just like listen to it, or you can just like read it, I don't know, like on Friday or like in Ramadan. I actually hate Shaitan so much. Anyways, I feel like a little bit like I'm high right now. But So I wanted a better relationship with the Quran, and I also wanted to focus more in my salats because I noticed like my focus was just off the charts. Like it was off the charts. Like sometimes I'm like, I don't even know what rak'ah I'm on. Like that's so bad. And as much as I like to kind of share my experiences with you guys, sometimes I'm like, you know what? I'm exposing my sins. So like, ya Allah, forgive me for exposing my sins. I'm just trying to like let people know that it's okay to feel like you had like a great Ramadan or like a high Ramadan, and then now you feel like you're in the dumps and you don't feel close anymore. But guess what? There's a way back. And let me explain it to you. So, first of all, make your du'as. Make your du'as for what you want, because if you're not making du'a, do you really want it? First of all. And second of all, why is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala going to give you something that you're not even asking for? Hello? And I used to think that you need a relationship, like you need to feel close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to ask Him for stuff. But just ask. Because that in itself is taking a step towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then you will see Him come to you, inshallah. Anyways, first step, make dua. Second step, actually do it. Like, okay, yes, I asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to turn my heart, right? To like want to read Quran and things like that. That doesn't mean it's just going to happen without effort. So what I did is I picked up the Quran. And this is so recent. Like, this is so recent. Like, I actually had to get myself out of the whole, like, the guilt spiral of like, oh, I'm not doing good and la-da-dee-da. Well, first I focused on my salats. Like, I just took it dramatically slow. Dramatically slow. Like I'm getting up and I'm like, Allahu Akbar. Subhana Rabbil A'la. Subhana Rabbil A'la. Subhana Rabbil A'la. Like dramatically slow. That wasn't even slow, but you know what I mean. Because I just wanted to, like, I wanted it to feel less like something I do like every single day and like focus on the words. And I will say though, I've been trying to learn the words of salat, like what they mean, literally what they mean. Like, we should know these things. Like, why are we not putting in the effort to know these things? But in Ramadan, I tried to like learn. So now I'm like, I kind of know what I'm saying. So that helps like me focus on salat. And then it's weird because I've noticed I have more khushu', more focus in salat when I'm praying by myself, which is so weird. Like, jama'ah is like, it's good. Like, praying with people is good. But as of right now, I have a little bit more focus by myself just because I'm like whispering loudly to myself and I'm like hearing myself and I'm taking it at my own pace. Okay, but doing that dramatically slow, right? I started to feel like I was looking forward to salat a little bit. Like, just one of the days, literally 2 days ago, I was sitting on the floor and I didn't want to tell you guys this because I'm like, ugh, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is answering my dua, like, do I want to share it or do I want to like continue trying to like, you know, get to where I want to be? But I feel like it can be a little bit motivating to hear, so let me just hear it. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, please keep this streak going. I mean, so I was like, after Asr or something, I just sat down and I mean, it's been a while since I've actually like done the full dhikr like we used to do when we were kids. And I sat there and I didn't like feel an urge to like get up and move and go back to my phone. Like, I sat there and I did the whole dhikr and I just felt like this is where I want to be right now. Like, I like, you know, like I didn't feel a rush, you know, like sometimes it's easy to feel like salat is like, oh, I have to pray. Okay, I prayed. Okay, now I'm done. Like, back to daily life. Like, salat is like an interruption of the day, but it should not feel like that. It should be, salat is a grounding factor of your day. You get to ground yourself 5 times a day. Remind yourself what you're doing. It's something that I don't want to feel like is a chore anymore. So that's what I'm trying to put an effort to do. And I hope it doesn't sound like I'm like always trying to be better. Of course I want that, but that's like not unrealistic, but I want you guys to know that like if you feel like you're not doing anything to be better, like I have felt like that plenty of times in like the last couple months, but I guess this is your sign to put in the effort while making dua. Anyways, so I put in that effort. And then why all of a sudden do I literally pick up the Quran and I want to read Mulk before bed? Which Surah Mulk, if you read it before bed every night, it protects you from the punishments of the grave. And if you learn about the punishments of the grave, trust, you're going to want to read Surah Mulk. But I was just reading it and I felt like my reading was not going to be the best because I haven't read in a while. But it wasn't as bad as I thought. And I just like, I felt so grateful that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala like answered my du'as and just like made me want to like read Quran and made me want to go slower in my salats, because if you want to do better, that's from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like, nothing that you're given in this life is from you, right? So like, even the want to do better is from him. So are you kidding me? He's literally putting it in your heart to want to do better. So there should be no thoughts about like, no, like I'm just so bad, like I can't turn back. Girl, he's already put it in your heart to be guilty about it, first of all, which is great. And it's just, it's literally shaitan in your head telling you that you're not good enough and all that stuff. So don't listen to him, listen to me. Hey babe, I'm here. Okay, we're in this together, crossing my fingers, but not in a way where, okay, I have this thing where I cross my fingers to like signify like we're locked in, like we're together. But like obviously other people cross their fingers to like depend on it. Not doing that, okay? Anyways, so yeah, coming back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I feel like the three things you need to do is the dua, the effort, and then continuing to do it even when you're not motivated to do it. And it's such a good feeling. It's really a good feeling when you start to want to do like things again, like religious things, when you want to be better. That's the people I'm trying to attract with this podcast. And the fact that you're listening means that you also want to do better, because you didn't click out. You didn't click out of this episode. So I know you want to do better, and we can do better together. Oh my god, we're like best friends now. Anyways, before I get even like more crazy on here, before I go loca, crazy, what's that one thing? Where have you been, loca? If you know, you know. Anyways, I think I should end the episode here because it's been an hour. But you know what? Y'all are going to be happy that it's over an hour because I haven't been here in a while. But I do want to do like an advice segment at the end. So if you need advice on something and you think that I can give it to you, emphasis on you think that I have insight on it, then please send it. Because some people send me things that I have literally no idea why they think I would know. Like, they're like, how do you balance, like, how can I balance, like, working and, like, being a good wife? I'm like, girl, I don't know. I don't work. Like, I don't work right now. Ask me something you think I can benefit you on, and I will try my best. So today I screenshotted a DM. Two DMs, actually. Let me start with the first one. Salam, hope you're doing well. I've been transitioning to wearing more modest clothing, and I love your style. The way I dress has been such a struggle throughout my life, and I really want to transition to a more halal way of dressing. I was wondering what stores you shop at or where I could get started with modest dressing. Okay. First of all, we are not so blessed with modest clothing in terms of like the availability of it, because either it's not modest and it's like everything cheap is not modest. And then the modest things are actually quite expensive because these brands are trying to give us modest clothing, but because they're smaller brands, they have to upcharge so that they're like in business. You know what I mean? I used to be a hater, guys. I used to be a hater of the brands that like have expensive modest clothing, but then I'm like, I mean, they're doing something and it's great. It's a great initiative. But like they're new, so they have to like upcharge to make money. But like obviously I'm not talking about the brands that are like charging $150 for a two-piece abaya set when they're already a big brand. You know what I mean? Like they're already a big brand and they already have a name and things like that. I'm not gonna name drop, but some of y'all know what I'm talking about. So where I shop, okay, so here's the thing. I used to shop on Shein a lot, and it sucks because Shein has modest stuff, but obviously it's not ethical. So like I'm not going to encourage you to shop on Shein. But I will encourage you to thrift, because thrifting, like, first of all, most thrifting clothes is already stylish. Like it depends what style you have. Like I have like an oversized fashion style. I like oversized pants, oversized like crew necks and things like that. So I do like to thrift for those things. And then where else do I shop? Honestly, guys, hit up Ross and Marshalls, because I feel like growing up we didn't really like what they had, but they switched it up. Like I'm telling you, Ross has a lot of flowy pants and skirts and like cute things. So go to Ross. I go to Ross. I thrift. What else? Okay, and sometimes I occasionally buy from the expensive modest stores, because honestly, sometimes when it comes to thrifting, I end up spending like $100 and I don't wear all the things that often. When instead I can spend like $60 on a modest shirt that I'm gonna wear like all the time. And I know 60 is a lot, guys. I know, trust me. Like, I am someone who grew up shopping at Forever 21 and they had like 50% off sales all the time. So I'm telling you, I would get like shirts for like $1.50. So anything above $9, I'm like, whoa, that's too much. But I will say that recently I have invested in buying modest clothing, like just simple pieces like skirts. Cotton On is really good. I went to like an outlet mall and they had really good stuff. I got like skirts and like flowy pants. So I would say I shop at Ross, Cotton On, Marshalls, thrifting, and Muslim owned modest clothing stores. The end. I hope that helps. I'm so glad you're trying to dress more modestly. I feel like it's really hard because when we wear tighter clothes, it's just we get a little bit more validation when people are like, "Ooh, she's giving body, like she's giving waist," like so like dressing more modestly, it's tough because we feel like we're leaving that behind. But trust me, there's beauty in modesty. You will feel beautiful and you'll feel elegant, inshallah. But make dua for that to enter your heart. Anyways, next. Salam Mihad, I have fallen in love with your podcast and you literally feel like an older sister. One of the things that I really resonate with in your hijab episode, you talked about being insecure but not thinking about taking your hijab off fully. That's something I'm going through right now, and I'm also in college and trying to navigate staying on my deen but also keeping the doors of marriage if the right guy comes. I just honestly want to know how to protect and grow during this time of college, and I'm waiting for a new episode, sis. Okay, first of all, love you. I'm glad you like my episodes and I'm glad that I'm back to doing them. So college is such a tricky place because there's a lot of free mixing and there's a lot of like you want to please others and you want to dress a certain way and you want to like have guy friends, and a lot of these things are normalized in college, but in reality college is just a test. Like, it's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is testing you. It's like, okay, you have the opportunity to be friends with guys, but are you gonna do it or not? You have the opportunity to dress modestly for me, or you can please others and not dress modestly or not wear hijab and things like that. So it's a place where you can make a lot of choices that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward you for, or the opposite, unfortunately. So she said, navigating staying on my deen but also keeping the doors open for marriage. Okay, honestly, first of all, we need to trust that just because we stay on the deen, like, okay, some people think that they don't want to dress modestly or they don't want to wear hijab because they think they will look uglier and then they won't find like a guy. But it's like, low key, that's kind of disrespectful to God, because do we really think that he's incapable, astaghfirullah, of giving you a good husband while you're wearing hijab? Like, isn't that more of a reason to give you a good husband because you're obeying him? You know what I mean? Like thinking that hijab is gonna limit you, or like dressing modestly is gonna limit you from things, it's not right, because that literally shows that you don't trust God. You don't trust Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala if you, like, obviously it's okay to like feel like insecure about that, but deep down we need to believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is capable of giving us good things while we obey him, even if society tells us that we're not gonna have a good husband if we don't show our hair, if we don't like dress immodestly. So I would say that trust Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to give you a husband even while you stay on the deen, okay? Especially while you stay on the deen, matter of fact. So while you're like trying not to have guy friends, staying with your girlies, dressing modestly, all that stuff, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blesses people who worship him. So trust him. And then how to protect and grow during this time is, don't people please. Don't do what I do, okay? Don't people please, because ultimately the one that we want to please is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so always be reflective. I think the biggest way that you can grow while you're young, or just in general, is always being in a state of reflection. Like, you go home and you're like, why did I do that today? Why did I like dab up that guy? Why did I have to put like extra makeup on today? Like, why did I have to show my neck? Why did I have to do, like, be so reflective. Like, it's okay that you fall short in areas, but go home and think about it. Like, the only way that I was able to get better is the fact that I was reflective about the things that I'm doing in my life. Like, for example, of like proper hijab, right? I was like, why am I not wearing proper hijab? Like, what is it? And I'd think to myself, well, I feel prettier when I'm showing my neck. I feel like it's a little looser. It's like it's like imitating hair a little bit. Like, it's not like, maybe I look like, maybe I think I felt like I looked like an egg at the time. So I was like, oh, I just feel prettier. But I'm like, okay, but imagine telling Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of judgment, I just felt prettier. Like, how do you think that's gonna slide? It's not gonna slide, babe. It's actually gonna hit you in the face, and you will, for a fact, wish to go back, and you would wear proper hijab for sure. You would not be friends with those guys. You would not listen to that music. You would not be mean to your parents. You would not miss the salat. You would not abandon the Quran. We will beg to be back here just to do it right. So we have to remember that. Like, we have to remember the end goal, I feel like. So, yeah, my advice is don't people please, be yourself, stay true to your deen, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will open all the doors for you. Inshallah. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. It was kind of all over the place, but I feel like I hit a lot of good things that like I've been meaning to talk to you guys about. If you want more content, I do have a Patreon. It's basically an all sisters community. I don't really let guys in there. I don't like it. Sorry, scary men. But I do post on there. I post bonus episodes. I post YouTube videos, actually. Like, anytime I go to the store, like, I come home and I like make a haul for them. They love that. And I really like that community just because it feels like I can actually connect with you guys on a deeper level. So if you're interested in that, more content, more podcasts and things like that, especially if you're joining now, you have a lot of content to catch up on, which is good. But the link will be in my Instagram bio, in my YouTube description, but if you're listening to this podcast right now, it will be in the description. So I hope you guys enjoyed. And as always, please make dua for me, because the whole point of this podcast is that I hope to benefit other people, and I hope that on the day of judgment I can benefit myself. Like, this will be a benefit to me. So inshallah, ameen. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye.